Chosen one, what you are receiving right now is not a suggestion. It is not an encouragement designed to lift your mood, or fill a quiet hour with something meaningful. What God is releasing into this moment is a direct and clear command. And the reason He is using that word command, rather than invitation or encouragement, is because the stakes attached to what comes next in your life are high enough that He is not leaving the response to preference. God tells you to do something because He sees something you don't yet see. There is something on the other side of obedience that wouldn't be there on the other side of delay that He can see. The window is clear to Him. He can tell the time. He can see exactly how what He put near you is set up, and what you need to do to fully receive it. He can see that the time between when you answer now and when you answer later is a big one. It's the time between entering what He's prepared when it's at its peak, and getting there after the peak is over. So, He tells you not to go against your will, and to give it the clarity it needs to move without any doubt. Before we go any further, I want you to tell me the truth about something, but not to me. Tell it to yourself. Many times has God given you a clear direction, a strong impression that you couldn't miss at the time, or a command that you knew you had to follow. But then, between the clear moment and the moment of action, something broke the certainty, and the action didn't happen. How many times have you given a clear order, but not done what you said? If you have lived with this pattern, if you have known the time between hearing the command and fully carrying it out, then this message is more than just another word. We're giving you the full explanation of why the gap has been there, and what will close it. I will show you 5 signs that this command is meant just for you right now. The first sign is that you have been in a time when God has been very specific. He hasn't been talking about broad ideas. Instead, you have had specific impressions that led you in the right direction. Come here. Put this down. Start that. Let go of what you've been holding on to. Step up on the one that seems too big from where you are. The specifics of what you've been getting aren't always the case in the spiritual life. It is a sign of a season when God is in charge. And the way that directness makes people feel means that you are in that season right now. A second sign is that your spirit has already told you what the next step is, but your actions have not yet matched it. You should really know that you need to do something different. A real, concrete thing. Something that you know for sure when you are alone and honest with yourself. You already know what it's called. You know what shape it is. You've been going around it. The clearest sign is this one because it's about you. The command God is giving you today may have many parts, but the most important part is the step your spirit already knows. The third sign is that, when things haven't gone as planned, you've known that the problem wasn't with someone or something outside of you. It was with something inside you. Not with your character or your willingness, but with something more related to your ability. The feeling that something in you that should be aligned isn't quite right, that you're not playing your full instrument when you need to. Feeling that way is not self-condemnation. It's a correct understanding that points to something real. And finally, the things you know best in prayer are easier to receive than to hold on to afterward. This moment of clarity is real. After the instruction lands, everything starts over. The noise comes back, the certainty fades. When the time comes to act, the clarity that was there before is only a memory, not a present fact. This isn't a lack of faith. The receiving instrument isn't working at full capacity, and this is one of its limitations. It can be fixed without putting in more work. It needs a different kind of fixing up. The fifth sign is always at the end of these kinds of lists, because it is the most reliable. Before your brain could fully understand what was going on, something inside you knew that this message belonged to you. It said, "This is mine." That recognition is the Spirit letting you know what it already knows. You're not here by chance, or because someone told you to be here. That's why you're here. The command God gave today was meant for you. And you already knew it. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Before I get into the specifics of the problem and how to fix it, I want to say something that I think is the most important thing on this subject. This is not because most chosen ones are disobedient, they just find it hard to fully follow a divine command. It's not that the will is weak. It's that both the thing that receives information and the thing that makes decisions are broken. And an instrument that has been hacked is not an instrument that is broken. It's an instrument that was made to work at full capacity, but is only working at half that capacity, for no fault of the person carrying it. The difference is between what you say you will do, and what you actually do. You are willing, so it's not the willingness gap. How far apart what God tells you to do is from what your whole self can receive and act on. It is not a failure of will when a command falls apart before it can be carried out. It's the obedience gap, and it can be closed. No longer is there a general term for who you are right now, there is a name for you. The exact title that explains why this kind of order is being sent directly to you. You've been training as a soldier for longer than a soldier should. Not because the training wasn't useful, but because the deployment had to wait for the instrument to be ready. And being ready for the spiritual life isn't just a matter of character. It's also a matter of ability. A soldier who gets orders but can't carry them out is not a coward. As long as the gun isn't jammed, having courage won't help. To fix it, you have to find the jam and clear it. That's what this message is. Not encouragement to work harder, but figuring out where the problem is and how to solve it. Think about the people in the Bible who got the clearest and most direct instructions from God. What did each of them know at the time the instruction came? When God spoke to Moses from the burning bush, he wasn't at the peak of his power in this world. Everything he thought he needed was taken away from him. When God told Joshua to cross, he wasn't in a comfortable spot. He was standing by the edge of a river, and the command told him to move right away. When the angel showed up, Gideon wasn't feeling very sure of himself. As he hid, the command did not reach the person it had been meant for at any of these times. It got to the person that the formation had been working on. You've been getting ready. It's possible that the years that felt like delay or displacement were not actually those things. They were exactly the right kind of preparation for the type of assignment you had. The order that is coming to you now is not coming to the person. You were at the start of that formation. It is reaching the person that the formation has been making, which is why the order is clear, direct, and now. However, I need to make a note of the gap that is still there between the command and the full response. The formation doesn't fix the instrument on its own. Even if the character is strong, the calling is clear, and the willingness is real and complete. There may still be a problem with the receiving instrument that makes it impossible to fully follow the command. Not because the person is disobeying, but because the part of the brain that links hearing to acting has been hacked in a way that has nothing to do with character. This issue has been around for a while. The problem is something that modern life makes almost everyone deal with. But it's especially bad for people who carry what you carry, who are sensitive at the level you're sensitive, and who have been in the kind of long-term preparation you have been in. Because the compromised instrument directly affects the level of sensitivity that lets you receive commands with this level of accuracy. This is not meant to take the place of your sacred sitting, prayer, or study. The goal of those practices was always to help the receiver get better. That which I'm about to describe doesn't tell you to obey more. That doesn't help close the gap. When the instrument is put back together, the gap closes. When I talk about what I just said, it makes me think of something that was found in a lab, but that most people in spiritual communities have never heard of. Something that explains the obedience gap, not as a failure of faith, but as a physical fact with a place to go. A group of scientists, led by a doctor in New York, who has spent more than 20 years studying the structure of the brain, found something about how the mind is built that perfectly explains the gap. They found something that shuts it. Please hold this question before we go on. Could it be that the parts of you that hear the command and the parts that carry it out were never meant to work together in this half-formed way? How about if there is a faster and easier way to get them to work together again? Let me show you what's possible when the obedience gap closes. This is not an aspiration, but a description of the state that was always meant for you, that the formation has been working to get you to, and that this command exists in. One thing you will know right away, when the instrument is fully fixed, is that the experience of getting a divine command changes, because you will remember living in a place similar to it a long time ago. The order comes through, and there is no trouble between hearing, knowing, and moving. But it's not because you lose your fear. Fear is healthy when things are at stake. But because the signal is clear, and the way forward is obvious. And the clarity doesn't fade when the world starts over. This way, you don't lose your certainty between prayer and the street. Now, I want to be more specific about what has been causing your lack of obedience. Once you understand it clearly, you can stop blaming other things for it. The problem is not with who you are. You're not someone who won't do what they're told. As someone who has been trying to obey with a tool that isn't working right, you are that person. One is a problem with the will, and the other is a problem with the tool. This is the only thing that makes them different. Will problems need you to give up. When a tool breaks, it needs to be fixed. The state of your instrument wasn't caused by a failure that happened all at once. It happens when people live in a way that their brains were not designed to handle without cost for a long time. The speed, the constant breaking up of attention, the demands on the brain that never fully go away when you rest give the brain time to readjust. In that long-term setting, the coordination between the two sides of the brain slowly breaks down. This makes it so that a person is genuinely willing, but not functioning at their full willingness level. It's true that you want to obey. You really love God. It's true that you want to finish the task you were given. That's all not in question. What has been stopping that willingness from being expressed is not a spiritual lack. It is a physiological problem with a physiological answer. And when that solution is used, the willingness that was always there comes out in a way it never had before. There is a picture in the Bible that fits perfectly with what I'm saying. You may remember the story of Samuel, the young man in the temple who heard Eli's voice in the night, and kept thinking it was him. It took Eli 3 tries to figure out what was going on and tell him what to say when the voice came back. "Lord, speak up. The person you hired is listening." The Lord then stood and called again, but this time Samuel did not run. He replied what he got. And what he got that night was a message that changed the world's course. The size of the voice did not change between the first and fourth calls. It wasn't Samuel's desire to answer that was wrong. The receiving protocol posture and internal alignment changed in a way that made it possible for the same voice, at the same frequency, to land in a way that it hadn't landed the 3 times before. Every time, the command came through. It wasn't set up yet in the receiver to hold it, until the full response came back. The text says something very interesting after Eli gave Samuel the receiving protocol. The Bible says that the Lord was with Samuel as he grew, and made sure that none of his words fell. His words didn't fall. In that way, you can describe a fully aligned receiver, someone in whom the gap between transmission, reception, and execution is closed. The Bible then says that everyone in Israel knew that Samuel was a real prophet. Not because Samuel said so. The quality of what he got and the thoroughness with which he did it were both clear to everyone around him. That's what you can use when the receiver is fully functional, not just for obedience. The kind of obedience that shows results that can be seen. That doesn't fall to the ground. That gets to where it's supposed to go, and does what it's supposed to do. The kind of obedience that this command asks for is that. It's not possible to get it by trying more. You can get it by restoring it. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. And I want to add the authority behind what I'm going to say because the command is so important that you should know you're not being asked to follow a good idea. You are being told about something that has been checked by the most advanced scientific research and has been used to save thousands of lives with consistent, measurable results. The doctor, whose work is at the heart of what you are about to hear, is a neurologist in New York. He has spent more than 20 years studying the exact relationship between the synchronization of the two hemispheres of the human brain and the difference in the quality of thinking and making decisions when they are synchronized versus when they are not. He is not working from theory. For 20 years, he has been observing patients and building on research that won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1981. This is what has been making the gap. And this is what will close it. Both sides of the brain are called hemispheres, and they are designed to work together all the time. The left hemisphere is in charge of structure, logic, and processing things in order. The right side of the brain is where intuition, pattern recognition, and the ability to hold what can't be fully expressed yet live. What you get in the synchronized state is not just logical or intuitive. It's both at the same time. The job is done. When you know something, you don't have to argue with yourself to get it clear. In this state, the brain is said to be fully activated. It's the state that 98% of children live in, but less than 1% of adults do too. Not because losing it is part of becoming an adult, but because of how modern life is set up. It slowly wears away at it in almost everyone without them even realizing it. There is no big change, just a dimming of the synchronized state, until the partial state becomes so normal that it is mistaken for the original. The message from God that you've been getting has been reaching you at full frequency. If there was a delay between giving the order and fully following it, there was no delay in sending. Receiver has been down for a while, but it can be worked on again. For his work figuring out exactly what the synchronized state does, and what the unsynchronized state lacks. Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize in 1981. What New York neurologist Dr. Daniel Barron spent more than 20 years doing was building on that basic research to create something useful. This useful thing bridges the gap between knowing and doing at the whole brain level, and it doesn't involve sessions in a clinic or expensive equipment. Instead, it involves an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence that works while you listen. I want to tell you about two people before I tell you what it's called. It had been more than 7 years since a woman from California did everything her spiritual community suggested. I do everything: pray, study, be responsible. She kept coming back to the same experience. She clearly heard what was being said. She wanted to follow them to the letter. And somewhere between being clear and doing it, something broke down. She said, it was like she believed the transmission was real, but couldn't hold on to it long enough to act on it, with all the weight it carried when it came. She told me that a channel that had been blocked was now open 10 days after she found what I'm about to describe. She finally did what she had been thinking about for 18 months the next morning, without the stress she had been feeling about it the whole time. A man from Texas had been responsible for everyone around him for years, and his own life had become thin and far away. It was clear to him which way he should be going. Since 2 years ago, he knew what he needed to do, but the clarity that movement called for kept coming and going as a feeling. He started 2 weeks ago, and the fog had been there for so long that he'd forgotten about it. His wife told him he was different when he got home. He said it was different because he finally felt like the whole person was in the room. The choice was made the same week. That's because of what Dr. Barone and his group made. They stretched and improved over an hour of clinical neural synchronization technology. The kind that is used in specialized medical settings, and costs a lot per session. Over the course of several years, they turned it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. You only need headphones, your eyes closed, and 8 minutes. The smart switch is what they call it. It's not a brainwave item. That's not a meditation track. This frequency isn't meant to make you feel a certain way. This is a specific sequence of sounds that were designed based on the Nobel Prize-winning research of Dr. Roger Sperry to connect the two sides of the brain, and bring the brain back to the state of activation that it was in when it was a child. This is the state where there is no obedience gap. The state in which the command of God arrives, and finds a receiver capable of holding it through to full execution. The genius switch was made for the obedience gap, not for people who don't want to obey, but for people who do want to obey, but can't hold the command long enough to fully carry it out. If that sounds like how you've been living, this is what was made for you. When people hear about this, most of them will never decide. They know how to deal with urgency, until it changes into a desire to put things off. Some part of you doesn't want to negotiate this time. Which is why you're still here. Instinction is not what that is. This was made for a person with that exact personality. Dr. Barone and his co-workers said that this technology would be worth a lot more than 500 neurological synchronization sessions that take place in person in a medical setting cost $300 an hour. The same home equipment costs 7,000. That's 7,000 for the same thing. For $39, the Genius Switch gives it to you. Though $39 is being put in. Right now, there is an introduction period on the page. The price goes back to $49 when it closes, and you get 4 free bonuses. There is a guided visualization on the Calm app, from a very good creator, that covers the 4 areas of life that are most affected by whole brain restoration. A grocery list of the 10 most common foods in American stores that help people stay in sync, along with cheaper alternatives that can save you over $100 a month at Walmart, Costco, and Target. A classic manifestation text from more than 100 years ago that is at the heart of all modern methods for attracting and receiving wealth. And a print-friendly infographic with the 5 daily habits that are most directly linked to staying in the restored state. All of it comes with a money-back guarantee that doesn't matter what. Just listen once. Listen 100 times. If the gap doesn't close the way that thousands of people have said it would, you can get your money back in full, no questions asked. Every day that the synchronization isn't fixed, the command of God moves through a receiver that can't handle the weight it was sent with. The provision He set up for this season, the step He tells you to take, and the door He opened for you, that needs your whole self to walk through it. These don't become less real over time, but the clarity that makes the movement clean also doesn't get better over time. If you look for something that sounds like this on other platforms, you will find things that are labeled the same way. They were looked at by Dr. Barone and his team. Most of them did not have neural synchronization technology in them. It is simple to put the label down. The machine is hard to put together. What his team made needed years of clinical work to get it just right. The link in the description and the comment that was pinned goes to the only source that can be trusted to be true. If what was said has been confirmed by your spirit, the link is in the description below, and in the comment that was pinned. Before you decide anything, you can read everything. There's every little thing. If the command in this message got where it was supposed to go, type "received" in the box below right now. Also, share this with someone you know who has been stuck between hearing and acting, who wants to do something, but isn't sure how. Not the tool, but the knowledge that there is a way to close the gap. Now that the order and explanation have been given, there is one more thing. Being honest with yourself right now means that the command that God has been giving you over your life is not a secret to you. It's something you know. The most honest part of you knows what the step is, even if you haven't said it out loud. You also know that the time between knowing it and taking it has been longer than it should have been. This message wants you to take the next step, which is the genius switch. Before you close this, click on the link in the picture below and in the comment that was pinned. Now that you can see things clearly, let that help you take the next step. There's the link. There are no conditions on the guarantee. The mechanism has been checked. Right now, listen to this. What God planned for you at this time wasn't planned for someone who would only receive it partially and carry it out partially. Everything was set up for the full version, which has always been available. Not by putting in more effort, but by restoring the instrument's body in a way that had been stopped. 8 minutes every day, and the days after the restoration are not the same as the days before it. Not because things changed, but because the person who is going through those changes changed. More of what God says comes true. It gets easier to see what He has put close to you. More of the arrangement He made with your name on it. It gets to someone who can recognize it and take it as seriously as it was sent. You've been honest with what you've had. You can now reach the fullness of what you were made to have. The command that God gave today was the news of that reach. And depending on what you do at this moment, you will either reach out to take what He's offering, or wait until the moment is over. You need to be there for Him right now, not later or when things are better. Right now. Because the plan He made, the provision He put in place, and the task He designed are all timed to fit your full obedience right now. You are the chosen one who heard the command and chose to receive it fully, not the cut down version. You are the one to whom the command was sent. From now on, that's who shows up. The link is in the comment that was pinned and in the copy below. Read everything. Do what the recognition says. It's clear what to do. The receiver is being fixed up. From here, you can get to everything the Lord planned for you. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary, where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.